Good evening, and thank you for coming to Oma-Ha. My name is Stephanie Finklea, and I'm very excited to be here. I like to wear my heart on my chest. So, as you can imagine, I'm really excited for it to warm up very soon. Stopped wearing a bra a couple years ago because I figured, why? And it's been pretty good. It's been well received. Men are pretty good at not staring, so, good for y'all. But my favorite is white women. It's the best. It's the best. It's great because they. And I'm just like, gotta get some grapes. It's fun. I enjoy it. I decided to get white boy wifed up, which is real easy to do in Omaha. There's a lot of them. But it's hard to meet them, so I decided I'm going to pioneer. I'm going to be the first black woman to get on farmersonly.com. Yeah, I want to make my mark in history and, be the first. I'm scary, I'm nervous, but I think it's going to go well because I'm going to start with me for my profile picture. It's going to be me in front of a field of corn, obviously. My foot upon the fence, my legs slightly agape, suggesting the fertility that is my body and the corn. On my feet will be cowboy boots, of course. Jeans, Levi's only. A flannel, probably some sort of black and red, because go Skurs! And from about here to here, it'll be the money shot. Not my boobs, y'all. It'll just be me chugging Roundup aggressively. It's just dripping down my neck, burning holes in my flannel. It's gonna be real classy stuff. Yeah, so are y'all excited to see some comedy tonight? Well, you just did. Good night. No, I'm kidding. That was just me. No, your next performer is originally from Chicago. She is one of the organizers of Omaha Improv Fest in May. Give it up for Trish Sullivan, y'all.
It's true. I'm originally from Chicago. But I moved here for the adventure. and it's been an adventure. I got here about 2 years ago. I started taking improv classes. I started doing stand-up, and now we're all here. You're welcome. So I think what you need to know about me is I'm single. 2 sisters, they're married. One's married to a guy named Biff. The other's married to a guy named Spike. No shit, my brothers-in-law are Biff and Spike. So according to family tradition, I can't get remarried until I find a guy with a really stupid nickname. So if you know anybody named Woody or Chip or Skip or Buzzy, please keep them the hell away from me because I'm not going back. So I'm also a mom, and my kids I have 3 kids, and they're all taller than me, a lot taller than me. So when they were little, as a single mom, I thought I had to have a really good parenting strategy. So I used threats and intimidation. It worked really well. But as they got taller than me, I knew I had to resort to something else. And I decided upon psychological warfare. So it started really simply with my sons. I would threaten to kiss them in front of their friends when they're in 7th grade. It's the perfect age for that. They hated it. With my daughter, I would dance, sometimes to make her stop and sometimes just to torture her. But I think my most brilliant idea came to me one day when I was driving to the grocery store with all 3 kids in the car. I don't know where it came from, honestly. I just turned to him and said, if you act up in the store, if you ask me for stuff you can't have, like meat, if you run up and down the aisles, I'm gonna sing like Ethel Merman, and it's gonna sound like this. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Thank you. They were perfect. So I bought a pitch pipe. And before we would go out, I would just tune up. And they were perfect all the time. It was awesome. It got to the point where I just had to take it out of my pocket. And they'd go upstairs and clean their room, or they'd sit down and do their homework, or they'd go out and change the tires on my car. So, like I said, I have 3 kids, and they're all performers of one kind or another. One of my kids plays guitar. My daughter is a singer. My oldest boy, he does stand-up in Chicago. And he's been really supportive for the most part with my comedy. He's given me ideas and pep talks. He's even helped me write a couple of jokes. But lately he's been acting kind of weird. He joined the PTA. He doesn't have kids. He also told me he's going to become a Girl Scout leader, just like me. And then he dyed his hair red. So his brother and sister think it's hilarious, but let's see how they like it when I start playing guitar and singing in public. So one of the things that you could notice about me is that I am a middle-aged suburban white woman. Yeah. And that means I can do pretty much whatever the f*** I want. Middle-aged women are basically invisible. We have nothing to lose. And I've learned that cops don't want to taser you if you look like their mom. I have yelled at police officers, and they have said, "I'm sorry, ma'am." I don't recommend that for a lot of you. I don't want to see anybody get shot. So, as a middle-aged woman, I was talking to some of my friends. Okay, I was reading a Facebook group. And the subject of the stupid things women do to make themselves attractive came up. And one woman swore she has a friend who does her own Brazilians. Now that's gotta hurt. But all I could think of is that woman must be so limber. I can't even clip my own toenails. I have to check my list. That's what I forgot. So part of getting older, and another part of getting older is that, things start going downhill, like your memory, but it doesn't have to be a slow, silent march towards death. It can be an adventure. It can be fun and exciting, like gambling. So I get a pain in my chest, and I ask myself, am I having a heart attack? Or is this the 4 push-ups I did yesterday? Yeah, I do push-ups. I have saved almost $4,000 in ER visits by not calling 911. I'm going on a cruise. So, a few weeks ago, I was out in front of a club with one of my friends talking, and this really drunk, probably really high, 20-something guy came up, and out of nowhere he says, "I would never rape a 50-year-old woman." Is it bad that I'm flattered that he thinks I'm 50? Thanks a lot, everybody. I'm Trish Sullivan.
Keep it going for Trish, y'all. All right. Your next comic performs improv with Vanity Project. You can catch them at the back line at Omaha Improv Fest this May. Give it up for Karl Hauser.
I don't care what Shirley Temple says. Animal crackers do not belong in soup. I'm Karl Hauser, and welcome to my TED Talk. I used to think I had a really hot take on Shirley Temple because, animal crackers, sweet, soup, savory, bam, it's done. Annie's over here with an astrophysical analysis of the sun that has a 100% accuracy rate, and your culinary analysis is making little orphan girls everywhere look like idiots to the rich old white men who might want to purchase them someday. Thank you. So I was at a party, and I brought this up, as I often do. And one of my friend's children goes, "But are oyster crackers animal crackers?" And like that, my world was turned upside down, and I had nothing to talk about for the entire rest of the party. But what can you do? Because kids will be kids, right? We believe that. I believe kids will be kids, and then they will be adults, and then they'll be old, and then they'll be dead. And those are the 4 types of people. 5 if you include dogs. But I know a lot about these kinds of things because I was a kid myself once. In fact, I was born at a very young age. Up in Minnesota, home of Paul Bunyan, America's most ridiculous folklore, a man so large that other lumberjacks had to put butter on their feet and skate around his pancake griddle to butter it up, which is, like a terrifying story because, not everyone survived that, right? There was, at some point, a corpse in one of Paul Bunyan's flapjacks. If you don't think that Paul Bunyan ever ate a guy, that's the fairy tale. Paul Bunyan, who created the Great Salt Lake in Utah with his own tears, mourning the loss of his great blue ox, Babe, who died of circulatory failure, which we should have seen coming. Oxes aren't blue. Her poor regular-size heart couldn't beat blood to her entire genetic monstrosity of a body. Paul Bunyan, who struck down the towers of Dakota, which they built to rival God, and for their hubris separated them entirely forever into North and South Dakota. Paul Bunyan, who on the mountain of Sinai, which is in the Rockies, passed down the stone tablets containing our Constitution to John Henry, the steel-driving man. Paul Bunyan, who turned the Sasquatch's wife into a pillar of salt for daring to look back at the Pacific Northwest as they fled. But that was, of course, Old Testament Paul Bunyan. My point is I was born in Minnesota. In the Twin Cities, not Minneapolis, but the other one, the less attractive twin. I believe that in every set of twins, there's the hot one and then the other one. There's one that looks like a person and one that looks like a pretty good forgery of that person. And my wife disagrees with me on this, but I still think that her sister's hotter. My wife is lovely. She's taught me so much. Because of her, I'm woke, which means I refer to her as my wife instead of my black wife. That said, my wife is black, which means I can say the N-word anytime I want a divorce. She's taught me so many things. She's taught me to follow my passions. I love music. Music has been in the soul of man since the first caveman invented music when he beat 2 rocks together, since the second caveman invented genre when he beat together 2 alternative rocks. This is why I've come here tonight. I've come here with my band, the Tone Downs. As you can see, Only I could make it. Unfortunately, my guitarist was otherwise occupied and is therefore dead to me. And of course, my drummer is dead and therefore otherwise occupied. So it's been tough. It's tough when you're in a band. You know, I've been trying to get our name out there. I've been going to some local coffee shops, ordering coffee, and they say, "Who's this for?" And I say, "The Tone Downs." And then when my coffee's ready, they say, "The Tone Downs." So there's buzz. I believe that life is like a trampoline. You know, you sink your deepest before you fly your highest. And then you do a sick flip. And if Becky Wilkinson from down the street sees it, maybe she'll let you get under her shirt. If it's a really sick flip. So I wanted to play you a song, and I probably have time for, one, two songs? One? Do we have time for three? One? She's waving to someone behind me. So if I may. You're right, Trish, that does taste like pennies. If I may, I'd like to sing you a little song called "The Lyrics of This Song Are My Twitter Feed." Some people say soda, some people say pop. I like to say Coke, so my drug dealer doesn't get confused. Public restroom is a pretty dumb name for a place where I'm not allowed to take a nap. No parent should have to bury their child, but if no one takes care of it, it becomes a health hazard. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would not be able to accurately gauge my own weight. Forgot the rest of the words to this. You threw me off. I bet the shoe salesman at that baby store, I bet the shoe salesman at that baby clothing store really regrets taking out that ad. It's a Hemingway joke, so it's fine. A lot of people buy fox fur and then find out it's fake and that they don't speak French. All right, that's my only song. Thank you guys so much. Karl Hauser, have a wonderful evening.
Give it up one time for Karl Hauser's wife. She's black. All right, your next performer, you can find her at open mics all over Omaha on any given day of the week. She performs every second Thursday at the Backline in Broad Perspective, and she's the owner and proprietor of Nice Noodles. Give it up for Brooke Barsell.
Hi. I know this is really hard to get off, so I don't even know if I want to try. It really is, though. We'll see. I'm used to having something in my hand when I do this. I might wait a little bit. So I have an Annie joke. I thought I would share it since you brought up the little orphan. I used to watch that show like over and over and over when I was little, and maybe too much. I would sing, "The sun will come out tomorrow," and then I came downstairs. I told my mom, I said, I really, really want to be an orphan. And she's still alive. Yeah. I've got Pierre tattooed on my left wrist and Holy on my right. I got them 6 months before I got kicked out of ministry school for not being pure nor holy. I bet I could get this off. Yeah! You always can if you try hard enough. Yeah, so they're not fans of fornicating at all, apparently, in ministry school, especially with Matthew and Mark and Luke and John, that second John and that third John and James, Peter and Paul, and Jonas, because not Jonas, the other one, the bad guy. I sometimes forget their names, but, and then like Connor and Mohammed and Mary. Yeah. I must apologize. I'm really, really high. Maintenance. But speaking of potholes, I don't think it's a fair name. I don't, because like pot is like not super, super destructive and scary. It's like may cause euphoria, bliss. So I think we should name them something different that makes more sense, right? Like crack holes. Or even buttholes, because they stink, right? Or alcohols. Yeah. So Nebraska has gotten like several inches in the last month or so. Like a lot. Like way more than I've gotten. Maybe except for like during ministry school. Or like third year at college, but not. It's Nebraska, right? It's not for everybody. Yeah. So I have something really special, but before I get to it, I'm just gonna squeeze in my nipple joke. I've been playing with it for a while, but there's not like a punchline that I can clamp down on. I'm gonna keep working with it though, till something comes. I really want to milk it though, for all that it's worth. So, true story. I'm gonna skip that one because it's fine. Okay, you asked for it. I was about to have a nice intimate time with myself. And I'm sorry that I looked right at my brother when I said that. He's like, don't look at me. And unfortunately, the batteries were dead. I know. Yeah, so I looked at the D's. What I needed was 2 C's. And then I had tons of double A's. And I'm like, if I just squeeze the D, like squeeze it down, maybe it'll fit in there. I don't know. This joke's so anticlimactic. But I'll keep playing with it. See if something comes. Oh, hi. Okay, so something very special. A couple of years ago, I was going through a hard time in my life, and so I wrote some like really heartfelt letters to some people that I felt were helping me a lot during this time. I'm not going to add to it too much. I'm just going to let it be what it is. Like I said, they really helped me. To Justin Bieber. You may never read this. Haven't even mailed it. I watched Never Say Never today. That's his documentary. Yeah. I'm just so inspired by you. I believe you're beautifully pure and you're brilliant to the core. But then, like, I couldn't imagine growing up so quickly, filled with all that talent and so many people worshiping you. And then the whole United States, they turned on you. And all you were doing was, like, speed racing and hanging out with prostitutes and Kardashians. The only box that you are in is the one that you believe yourself to be in. I'm skimming. This is a full page. I am a believer. I wish you the best. Surround yourself with light and love, and never say never. Love, Brooke. Did I mention there are 3 letters? Letter number 2. Dear Katy Perry, I feel like I could write you 1,000 letters, thanking you, encouraging you. You sing your songs from your heart. I sometimes feel like a plastic bag. In 2013, I got married, and shortly after, everything was terrible. I remember going to yoga. I lost my job. My skin was covered in hives. My parents wanted me to work on the marriage. He was an alcoholic. And then out came the song Roar. Yeah. It helped me a lot. Yeah, so thank you, beautiful, fashionable cover girl. Way too famous to go anywhere. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so I watched the Disney documentary, and I said, may a mouse inspire you, or a sunrise, or a new kind of fish, or anything you wish. Oh, yeah, wait till this ending here. Can't wait to have tea and sit by the water. I feel like I need to send this one, otherwise we might not make that happen. Love, Brooke. I have one more. Dear Jesus. And you know what? He got this letter. He read it when I wrote it, so I'm not going to share it with you guys. But yeah, that's my time. Thank you so much. My name is Brooke Barsell, and hopefully I see you all again.
All right, give it up one more time for Brooke. All right. Thank you so much to our live audience. We're so glad you came, right, Brooke? Yeah. We'll see you again. Please watch us again. Have a wonderful evening, and good night.
Oma-Ha, a stand-up comedy TV show, was filmed in front of a live studio audience at KPAO Community Television in Omaha, Nebraska.